Welcome back to Sweet Death Entertainment. I'm AJ Motts.
I'm RJ Stone.
And we are back after a little short hiatus. We had to move our international headquarters to a more centrally strategic location.
Yes.
You could say that, right?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Whatever. Keep going.
Yeah. So we're in our new location. We have our own little private studio now.
We do.
Which
An
is
actual
awesome.
studio with no background noise, no nothing.
An enclosed room. It's awesome.
It is. And with the green screen, you can't tell where the hell we are.
Right. We could be in the other room that we were just in
Last time.
a couple months ago.
But we're not. No, I was going to say we're broadcasting. We're recording this actually live in our brand new headquarters here in Dallas, Texas.
Ooh. So since we are in our new studio here, we're going to do something a little different.
Yep.
We normally do a lot of music video reviews. We've done a couple other little things, and today's going to be one of those other little things.
Yes.
We got a special review.
We do. It's our first book review. And you might be saying, it's like, why the hell are these guys talking about literature? What could they possibly know about literature?
Culture.
And you'd be right to make that judgment. But this one we know a little bit about. So we're kind of happy to do this. We're proud because we knew what went behind this, getting this thing out. So what am I talking about? I am talking about the brand new book, Headbangin Radio, from everybody's favorite guy, ThrashPie. Here it is right here, hot in our land. And look, he even signed it to me.
Available at Amazon.
And on headbanginradio.com.
Yes.
It's available there as well.
Yes, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with who ThrashPie is, it's kind of a really interesting story how we are connected to him. As you know, AJ and I, you may not know, met at knac.com, which is now 19 years ago.
Crazy.
Which is freaking insane.
Crazy.
I actually worked at KNAC, the FM, back in the late 80s. And you worked at an LA radio station known as...
KLOS.
Okay. So you're wondering, how the hell did the two of us get together? Well, and how does it tie into Headbangin Radio? Well, ThrashPie, who got his start on the East Coast, okay, and then came to LA in the 80s and was working at knac.com. Eventually, as everybody does in radio, you leave. Sometimes you come back, sometimes you don't. And ended up going to KLOS. Okay. Now, many of you out there, if you're familiar with LA radio, might know ThrashPie as
Engineer Ted.
From KLOS, who used to work on Mark and Brian with you.
Well, I didn't work with him. I just missed him. Okay. I missed him by a couple years, but he did a lot of... I did Thrasher's job after Thrasher at KLOS. So I ended up working for Mark and Brian.
You succeeded.
Yeah, I followed in his very capable footsteps.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Didn't fill the shoes.
Can't fill those shoes.
No. But
you wouldn't want to fill those shoes.
I don't know where those shoes have been.
Oh.
Like, I do know where those shoes have been. That's the problem.
True. So, anyhow, so that's how we actually are tied to Thrasher, and he's a really good, dear friend of ours. So is this review going to be a little biased? Maybe. But let's just start off by saying it's not like we're talking about War and Peace here. The book is exactly 150 pages long. It's kind of cool because the last page of it is a picture of his son, which is cool. And basically this picks up in a small synopsis of his history. And if you are any bit of a fan of 80s metal, hence us kind of throwing tribute today, wearing these things, we had to dust them off a little bit. Believe it or not, this used to be big. Sorry. This book here, Headbangin Radio, right here, gives you a brief insight in what it takes to become a radio jock in a major market.
Yeah, and not only that, but the trials and tribulations that go along with the radio business.
Yes.
Where you can get fired at the drop of a hat.
Yes, you can.
Quit at the drop of a hat.
Yes, you can.
Get picked up by another station just like that.
At the drop of a hat.
Or you could be unemployed for 6 months or longer. Who knows?
Yes, longer.
Yeah.
Going on longer. All of which I have been, as you too. And it's true. You hear about people, it took him 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
He talks about that in here. Basically, was a farm boy. just a young kid, shy kid, as a lot of people are who in entertainment.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Sought out the theater as a way to kind of escape his introvertedness, and fell in love with radio and just doing small market radio. And we've all done small market radio.
Oh, yeah. So Ted, he's actually earned his stripes.
Yes, he has.
He fell in love with comedy through the theater, and that's where he developed his sense of humor and able to write comedy bits and become the morning man that if you were lucky enough to be in LA while KNC FM was on the air, you listened to him.
Yeah.
And hopefully laughed and...
On a little 1,500 watt station, and people would, they'd come over the hill just to hear him and just to hear the station, just to be honest. What I like about this is, and again, it's not a hard read. I read it in 2 nights. You read it in 3 nights or something like that. Yeah. You pick it up and it's like, all right, you just keep going to the next page. It's a fun read. It does delve a little bit into the business of radio, which, a lot of people don't realize what goes on. It is a business. So if you've ever wondered, one of those people, bring KNC back on the air. Yeah. Why did it ever leave? It's business. Yeah. It's money.
Why are there so many commercials?
Yeah, when you can buy a station for $1 million and turn around, I think, and sell it for $13 million. That's called making a pretty big profit. So
when in LA, a radio station typically costs you probably $120 million.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Now.
For a major signal.
That's true. That's true. But he talks about, his upbringing and his mom and the farm and everything, and his family. He talks about how he got into the local radio. And then he actually dives in a little bit on how he developed some of the characters that we grew up to love and listen to, which you don't get a lot. I mean, everybody's familiar with Howard Stern and how Howard Stern did his thing, right? Because you've all seen the movie. There may be a movie for this. We don't know yet. Ha ha ha. But what I like about it is he tells you this is how that came to be. It was an accident. Or this guy liked it, this guy didn't like it.
Or just during a conversation, somebody yells something out, and all of a sudden, sparks an idea. And
that's right.
You're off and running.
And he coined the phrase at one point, it's if you're stealing from him, you're stealing from...
Twice,
whatever the thing is. Just remember saying it. So with this book, it's a fun read because... having experienced a lot of the stuff that he talked about in here, look, I am proud to say for the brief moment in time that I was affiliated with the station, it was the best 1.5, 2 years of my life, right? And just in the entertainment.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just so much fun.
You don't get paid squat, but
no, you don't.
The perks are nice.
The perks are really nice. You meet women. Okay, you go to shows, you get in video, you meet rock stars
for free.
For free. Sitting down, like this next to him, to Gene Simmons at the Rise to It video shoot, talking to Gene about movies. Gene, so do any new movies lately? No, how about you?
I was in Trick or Treat, and did you hope to see that? I was really supposed to play the rock star, but they wanted me to play. I felt I would be better used as the DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you work at a place like this. Okay, so place like that. There you go. There it is. Yeah. So the book. Getting back to the book because this is a book review. So. One of the key elements in the book that he talks about, which a lot of people are very familiar with because it was a pretty big tour, is the whole Monsters of Rock fiasco, tour that happened. It was 88, summer of 88, started in May, if I remember correctly. And how this little radio station and Ted himself, ThrashPie himself, got involved with the tour. Not going to go into the whole thing. I do not want to spoil this for you.
Yeah, buy the book. Read it.
Buy the book. Read it. It's a fun read, and it's a fun story that he talks about right there.
Yeah, and that was cool seeing that perspective because I was at the show.
As was I, in LA.
Yeah, and just to hear his perspective of what was going on versus my perspective of what I saw, because at the stadium, couldn't really listen to the radio station at the time. So to go back and listen to that recording was actually pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the other cool thing about the book. If you've ever heard of people that have gone through the hallways at KNAC itself, he talks about them in here. Everybody and some names that I completely forgot about were in here, which is pretty cool because I'm sitting there reading through the book and I'm like, oh my God, I can't remember. I remember that person. It was so cool. It was fun. And, you start thinking about it when you met them and what you did with them. There's a lot of that in here.
Yeah, it's just kind of fun, especially, like you said, from our perspective that we know a lot of people in that book. So it's just like, oh, okay, that's what they were doing back then. And that's how they were. Get a little more insight into somebody you know.
Yes, and there is a little tiny segment, little itty bitty tiny segment, where he talks about swinging golf clubs with Jack Trash. I was the third party there, but I didn't make the book.
What's up with that, Ted?
Anyhow, that's the book. So it's Headbangin Radio from your favorite guy, ThrashPie, excuse me. Go get it down and look. It's a $10 book at Amazon. $10. It's less than 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks.
How can you refuse that?
Yeah,
especially if you're a fan of just concerts, metal, rock and roll, radio. Buy it. It's a fun read. Add it to your collection. It'll look good sitting there on the shelf.
It will. Now, I'm going to recommend you do this. Buy your own copy. Share it with a friend. And then after they're done reading it, take it back and tell them, okay, go buy your own. Mm-hmm. Go buy your own.
Fine, I will.
And then share it with somebody else. If you want to see something go viral, buy a book. And watch what happens. Because you can see on Amazon how many they're selling. Thank you. I'm looking up here.
You're right.
So, buy the book. This is why I've always been told I have a face for radio. So
that is an improvement.
Yeah, thank you. It's called Headbangin Radio. It's by ThrashPie, your favorite guy, who also self-published this, which is pretty cool. Go buy it. Amazon or at headbanginradio.com. Friend ThrashPie and all the social media avenues. Don't forget to friend us at Sweet Death Entertainment. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, but we are going to do a very special reading. So stay tuned. We're going to be reading some excerpts from
Headbangin Radio
from ThrashPie.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And now, Sweet Death Entertainment proudly presents Sir R.J. Stone, Esquire, the Third, with a very special reading of Headbangin Radio by ThrashPie, your favorite guy, in conjunction with Edmund Pritchard Media. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a little class and culture.
Headbangin Radio by ThrashPie. Chapter 1, Highway to Hell, L.A. Page 3, paragraph 2. How exciting. One of my fraternity brothers, Jimmy Logan from Luray, Virginia, and I were pretty tight due to our mutual worship of a Detroit disc jockey named Don Cornelius, and in a particular TV show he hosted in the 70s called Soul Train. Don Cornelius. Watching Soul Train for us was like going to church. We'd smoke some of our homegrown weed, kick back in our fraternity's tube room, and soak up every second of the hour-long show. It didn't matter that we were out in the sticks. We were making our connection with all the big world every weekend by watching Cornelius on TV. All the great R&B acts performed. The dancing of the kids on the show was off the charts crazy, and Cornelius himself was the paragon of cool. When Jimmy and I found out that WWHS-FM would let students perform on the air, it was all over. We signed up to do a soul show right away. Naturally, we had to create some kind of buzz, so we came up with on-air characters. Jimmy called himself Dr. Star, and I was, you guessed it, the Dream Merchant. I'm pretty sure I stole that nickname from R&B singer Jerry Butler, whom I had seen in Richmond at some point. So Dr. Star and the Dream Merchant became a team and nailed down a time slot on WWHS-FM. I can't wait to read the rest of the chapter. Chapter 3, The Wild Wild West, L.A. Radio. Page 46, paragraph 3. I continue. Then there was the time in my first few months on the air when I pulled into the parking lot of our building at 4 o'clock a.m. and noticed a guy sitting in his parked pickup truck. He looked to be dozing off. As I swiped my key card to get in the back door, I heard a voice. "Hey Thrasher, what's up? Let's go on the air, man." It was Jack Russell of Great White. My man Jack had been partying all night and had stopped off to do a bit of promotion before heading home. I love Jack. He had a reputation for partying like the rock star he was, and I was flattered that he thought enough of me, really me, I mean KNAC, to stop off and grace us with his presence. I'd seen Jack do a Zeppelin cover with a friend's band on a night that I had thought of his partying had caught up with him. He barely made it to the stage, but when he did, as soon as the music started, he grabbed the microphone and became the definition of the word focus. I've never seen anything like it before or since. I brought Jack into the station, asked him to give me a minute. What I did then was call Jimmy and tell him what was going down. I escorted Jack into the control room and we chatted it up for a few minutes and then played a couple of Great White songs. I left the control room for a minute to get us both a cup of coffee, but when I returned, Jack was starting to snooze. Thankfully, Jimmy showed up and took over. The next time I poked my head out of the studio door, Jack had split, and I got back into my business as usual on the air. Oh, what hijinks will ThrashPie get into next? Let's find out.
Well, there you have it. We hope you enjoyed this little presentation of Headbangin Radio by ThrashPie, your favorite guy.
Absolutely. Yes, those are my slippers.
Cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Those are my slippers.
Mm-hmm. And those are your
Leave the pajamas out of this.
jammies.
Okay.
You got the matching Garanimals top too?
They're Cookie Monsters. Thank you very much. Enough? Headbangin Radio. ThrashPie, your favorite guy. Amazon, headbanginradio.com. All the links will be below, right?
Yep, all the links in the description below for the book, for Sweet Death Entertainment, for the gear. If you want to get some gear, we got it. Hats, hoodies, shirts, belt buckles, dog tags, beanies.
And international orders, there's an extra charge. Just letting you know right now.
Yeah, we don't like paying $3 for when somebody buys something.
Hey, we're learning stuff. After 9 years, you think we know this.
Yeah.
So, I'm RJ Stone.
I'm AJ Motts.
Stay metal.
This is Sweet Death Entertainment.
Peace.